before I start. Let me preface this for all my YouTube and Twitch people and whatnot. If this conversation gets a little bit tough for y'all, I apologize ahead of time. If y'all take offense to it a little bit, I apologize ahead of time. But I definitely want to cover this. If somebody called, and this is for both of you, somebody called you a nigga, what's your response?
What's up? I'm being serious right now. I mean, I wouldn't really take offense to it. I'd be confused more than anything.
Okay.
I would have to do a double take. They would have to call me a few times to realize that they're talking to me.
Got it.
I mean, at the end of the day,
There's a reason why I'm asking.
at the end of the day, I view words as just words. It depends. If it's said how you said it with an A, I wouldn't really take offense to it. But even if they said it in more of a derogatory way, I would be still more confused than anything. Like, I wouldn't take offense. Not really. I would just be more like, especially if it's someone I don't know.
Got it.
I would be like, is everything all right? Like what's the problem here? Because I would try to figure out why so hostile, and if it's not out of hostility and it's just out of that's how they say
let me
hello.
So they'll be like, so let's say it was a coworker. I ain't putting no coworkers on things. It's not what happened at our job, but just to say it was coworker, and they say, "What's up, nigga? What's good?"
Well, time was good.
Okay,
that's it. I mean, that's it. That's all.
No. I'm doing this. I'm doing this for a reason. There is a reason why I'm doing this, because this is, it's becoming more and more of a regular thing.
What about you, man?
Okay. That was good.
I know, but I get it, because that's a real answer.
For me, it all depends who it's coming from and how you express it or take it. Me personally, I don't take offense to that word until it's used in the wrong negativity coming from a person. But at the same time, I always feel like we all minorities at some point. But if I'm using it as a how can I use it? How can I explain this? If you use the word for intent, then that's bad. But if you use it for a symbol or expression or dealing with certain people, it's all the way how they take it.
Yeah.
But nowadays, everybody use it just to say it, just to be saying it, or or describe somebody who you know, or places you've been, or just dealing with crazy things in general. But I always take it, well, hey, we all, if everybody want to be one, so might as well just be one. But I don't use that as a content to, necessarily to attack people, because that's wrong. So I'll say, for me, wise, unless if it's not used into a bad integrity way towards offending somebody, I have no problem with it.
So you're saying if they don't use it as an insult?
Yeah.
Okay. And again, I'm using this because it's a lot. It's going to be a few different directions we're going to take it. But so let's say that, let's say it's a black person saying it to you. That change your answer?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not one bit.
So it doesn't change your answer if it's a black person who say, "Yo, what's up, my nigga? What's good?"
No.
Okay. So let's say it's a white person who say that. Does that change your answer?
No. Because there's only one race and a bunch of different ethnicities.
I know. I get it.
But it's just ultimately it's like they're directing it to me. I don't mind. I mean, ultimately, if if they talk like that, they might say it to the wrong person and get clocked. I'll warn them, not for me to hurt them. I wouldn't do that, but be like, I don't mind you calling me that. I really don't. But there's going to be someone out there who is going to mind it, and they might get violent. So I would just advise caution on that, because not everyone's the same when it comes to certain words.
Right, because I know you say it depends on who it comes from. because that was your thing. I know that's kind of like your your perception too of if it came from a position of it's a what's up thing versus a negative thing. I kind of got that.
Mm-hmm.
So let me take it this direction.
Okay.
So let's say that, there's people who just kind of say that, hey, that's my nigga, yada yada. They say it all frequently and stuff. Being conscious of, not being conscious of the people that's around them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's kids who listen to this conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
They go to school. So they're talking to their friends. What's good, nigga? What's going on, nigga?
Yeah.
Is it okay?
Well, I think we've
Is
all...
it okay? Is it okay for the kid to say
it? Yeah, no.
So why is it yes and why is it no?
How can I use it? Well, you got to think about it, Cam. People at school say that all the time. And it's something that is not going to be stopped until they get caught with it.
Okay.
So if on school grounds, if you don't get caught with it, if you're just using it, expressing with whoever you're hanging with or your peoples, then that's something different. Versus if you get caught saying it, now you have to pay the consequences on that.
I think...
Now...
Go ahead.
I've seen that go both ways in elementary and high school, because I've got in trouble before in school just by saying that. Not to use it as an attack on somebody, they just use it as a person or who I'm describing, who I'm hanging with.
I think the problem with it is the word itself, depending on how a student, like Paul says, students using it amongst each other, that's going to happen no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
But however, if the students in class and a teacher ask a question and he responds by saying, that's the answer, my nigga, and follows up like that, I think that's going to get him in trouble.
First of all, that's funny, but go ahead.
But you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
First of all.
No, but he ain't lying though. That's the funny part because
he would get in trouble.
Because it's not
necessarily.
It's more of a.
But you have had kids.
Yes.
Do that.
And I'm glad you described that in that example.
That's a good example.
Because it's more of a respect thing. Because well, it's a multiple things, but by the respect thing, don't
crowd on that because. He ain't. It's a yes and wrong on that part.
It's to a degree.
It's not to a degree, Cam.
Oh no, yes it is.
Okay, yeah, it is to a degree. But like I said before, whoever takes it in the wrong negative way, then that's something different.
Well, like imagine, imagine this example, right? Like you're in science class, right, and the teacher is Miss Johnson, right, and that's how you answer back. Yeah, you're gonna get in trouble.
See, here's the thing. I'm gonna take right now because I know. So let's say this. So I'm gonna take the premise. No. Let's I got you. Let's rock with this premise. So Mrs. Johnson, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So are we taking under assumption that Mrs. Johnson is black?
Not necessarily.
No, I would say. So let's say she's white.
So let's say she's right, and she says, and you say, and as let's say the kid says to the teacher, "Yo, Miss Johnson, that's the answer, my nigga." How is that going to fly?
You see what I mean? No, that's not going to work.
No, because I want you to understand that. So wait. So if you say, let's get here for a second.
Okay.
So if you saying nigga is a term of endearment, why does that not fly in that situation?
Because for one, you got to be respectful as to whoever.
So you said no. I want to get your point. You said saying my nigga is a respectful thing, right?
No, I didn't say that. I said it's a disrespectful thing if you're saying it towards a teacher.
No. But why is it disrespectful for a teacher? But let's say that teacher was not on duty, and is it okay if that teacher wasn't on duty and you say the same thing, and you say the same exact thing?
It's a rank thing.
It all depends on how they take it.
But it's either one or the other, right?
Yeah.
I get what you. It's either respecting or it's a not respecting.
Yeah,
so which one is it?
It's not a respect.
So that's what I'm trying to get y'all to understand, right?
Yeah.
So if it's not of respecting, so if you cannot say this phrase in certain situations, then why is it good in one and not the other? Here's the story. So a kid calls another kid a nigga. That kid gets in trouble. The kid who says it gets in trouble. Because that kid, the other kid, goes to the principal and said, oh, well, he called me a nigga.
Okay.
Now, this didn't happen in class. This probably happened on the playground or whatever it may be.
Okay.
Said kid gets in trouble.
Okay.
Keep in mind, I'm going to preface this that both kids are black. One's mixed, one's black.
Okay.
How do you handle that situation? Because he didn't say it he didn't use the term in the derogatory, meaning that you're being a nigga. He didn't say that.
Okay, so
He didn't say that. He said in the kind of in the same thing, like hey, what's up, my nigga, what's going on? And the dude took offense to it.
So you said one kid is black and the other kid,
is black but mixed. Yes.
Okay.
But
I've seen this happen.
And the one who said it was,
I've seen this happen before.
And the one who said it was mixed to the other kid who was fully black. I'm just letting you know this is not, you're not talking about two necessarily different races. You're talking about two of the same race and
so, and I've seen this happen before. And for the person who's been called a name by that other person, I've seen it where it happened where another person who's mixed, black and white, will tell that person in contempt, like, hey, I know you're just using that, just as an expression of sentence, but, for the kindness, can you not call me that? And another person will be, okay, respect it. Okay, cool. You explain, how you felt about it, I won't call you that anymore. Versus, if you did with that same answer response, another person would be mad. Well, man, you ain't, you really ain't black. You ain't that. So why you getting offended?
I get all that.
So
I get both perspectives. This is why I'm having a conversation.
I think
there's two perspectives.
Fascinating that this single word can generate so much conversation and controversy. This single word, and this word has been given so much power by the people.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
But see, here's the thing: is people take it to a wrong way and a right way when they hear the word. But I rather, for me, and this happened, and if you tell me like, hey, I know, I'm not telling you how you should speak and this and that and the other, but for the respect of me, can you not call me that? If somebody tell me that and I have to respect that. Okay, I will never call you that, because I don't want to, come off as, a negative person or a racial person, whether even if they are black or not black.
Simply respecting the wishes.
Respecting wishes. That part I have no problem with. But what I do have a problem with is that people hear this word and get offensive by it so quickly to the point that, You
want me to jump in?
Yeah.
Allow me.
Go ahead.
Allow me. I know you're saying that people get offended by hearing the word nigga, right?
Yeah.
There is a reason why.
Yeah, and I know.
So if you understand the why, then you got to understand kind of where the boundaries of the word flies. Because originally we took nigga to be a bad thing because it was always talked about us from white people to black people in the negative.
Yeah.
Period. There was no shaking that around that. We as black people decided to, somewhere down the line, I don't know where. I don't know where we decided to change this around. And this was post-slavery stuff where we decided in the streets to say, instead of being like nigger, it was, yo, what's up, my nigga, as a term of endearment, quote unquote. But the rule was always been, well, only black people can say to black people. Why did that become the case?
Well, look at the times of segregation back in early America here. They said it. They didn't say it like that either. Or they said Negro.
Right.
Right. Which
They said Negro, and then they
Which
said,
is strange thinking about it because that's similar to how you say in Spanish the
it
color
is.
black.
That's the reason why they said
In
it to the beginning.
Spanish, the color black is
It's
negro.
Yeah, it's negro, and that's
Negro.
what. And
But
because they couldn't pronounce it,
they
right,
say negro.
because they couldn't pronounce back in the day. They really couldn't pronounce it right. So instead of saying negro, they say negro, and that negro turned in. They slanged it into nigga. Mm-hmm. That's really where the origin came from.
So honestly, what we're seeing here is a degradation of the Spanish word for black.
More or less. And that's why even when you hear people like Spanish people, when they try to mask it, instead of them calling you nigga, they will say this Negro, yada yada yada. And if you really understand enough Spanish, you understand that they're saying, well, this black person, yada, 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 yada. That's literally what they're saying. They're basically calling you a nigga without really saying it. I mean, a lot of people don't think we understand that, but if people who understand enough Spanish actually understand that too. Yeah, and you hear that with all these like bad words behind it, you already know it's good. But the reason why I say that is because so going back to the story, this kid, the mixed kid, got in trouble. But part of it,
you said the mixed kid got in trouble.
The mixed kid is the one who said it, and the mixed kid is the one who got in trouble. Now,
I thought you said the black kid.
The mixed kid got in trouble.
Okay.
Now that doesn't have no bearings upon him getting in trouble, not getting in trouble, because he was basically, you would think, like I said in conversation, the rule was, well, if you're a black person saying to another black person, it should be okay, right? Mm-hmm. The answer is, to a lot of people it ain't. Because a lot of people, they don't, even kids, they don't rock like that. They're not taught like that. Mm-hmm. I'll give you my personal perspective in a second. But part of the reason why the kid is having an issue is because his parents, he hears it from them. Mm-hmm. And then there's, remember I told you that the kids is listening to what the parents and everybody's saying, and all of a sudden, because the parents are talking like that, the kids, you know what they do when they get to school, when they're away from their parents, they start talking reckless. They start trying to talk like their parents talk.
See, and that's a problem right there, because it's, to a degree, you know, you can't control what kids say now, especially these days. Oh, yes, but I mean, yeah, okay.
Oh, well, yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
Yes,
but
you can.
Do they solve it?
Oh, sometimes. This is what I'll tell you. Here's where my personal perspective come in. Y'all know my kids are mixed. Y'all know both of them. Yeah. And so.
And shout out to the kids.
Yeah. You know. Oh yeah. Shout out to my son's birthday coming in a couple weeks. So that's a different conversation. You know, love to them, of course. But for them, I made it a point for them not to use that. Okay. Because what I didn't want them to do.
How old were they?
When I first started teaching this, they were like 5, 6, and 7, and then, you know, as they were getting older. And part of that was,
I got a question for you.
And part of that was, I had to kind of not use it, you know, literally as much. That's not to say like don't use it ever. That just means that you don't hear me saying that a lot, like at all.
So, question for you, and I know you probably ran this to a problem with your kids. Have there ever been a time where your kids heard the word at school and had a problem with it? They heard it. They didn't have a problem with it, but they did have to they basically have to question it and be like. Or had they been put in a situation where they had to deal with that word from another person?
Then when my daughter had to deal with that once.
Okay.
But it wasn't as big of a deal, but it was like one of those things like I told her and like her mom told her, and her mom was white, of course. Mm-hmm. You just don't use it back. Period. Okay. They're going to be who they are. We are going to raise you to be a little bit better. And it goes into your original premise. I never wanted my kids to get into a position where they get loose at the mouth and they get willy-nilly and then they say it to the wrong person. They say it to the wrong teacher. They say it to the wrong person in the street. They say it to somebody else, and it becomes a problem. Mm-hmm. Because that's ultimately what it's going to be. Yes, you know, now people use nigga like, oh, well, that's my dude, that's my homie, that's my girl. That's really how they kind of use the term now. Versus the old school term, which in theory is fine. I'll let you rock Vic in a second. Yeah. Which in theory is fine. Mm-hmm. But the problem is that a lot of people don't rock like that. They don't get that. So when you hear other people just willy-nilly saying the term, and they're so comfortable in saying it, not just black people, everybody just comfortable in saying it, it becomes a little bit of a problem, especially for the generation who have to deal with we have to really pick and choose when to say this, if that makes sense. And then you got kids who are hearing this, who are raised in this environment, and now they're like, well, they're getting in trouble because of what their parents are delivering to them. Part of the reason why I had to not deliver that message to my kids, I couldn't be the one to say, don't say it, and then I'm saying it. I can't let them get in trouble for it, but I'm still the one saying it around them. That makes sense? Mm-hmm. That was the teaching point for me. I had to be the one to say, well, for you not to get in trouble, we can't do this. Because I don't want you to be in a position where you're in a school situation, a work situation, a street situation. My son's in the military. I don't want to be in that situation. And something happens and it goes real south real bad. Because even though people think that, oh, well, that term is cool, that term still, the word nigga causes separation.
I think it's, we could literally do like a documentary on this word, right? I'm like, not even as a joke. Like no. We could literally do a documentary on this word because it is absolutely fascinating. This is the only word I can really think of that has this much controversy around it, this much power over how people would interact with one another, you know, and ultimately it's just a word. And it all it all started with just it being how Spanish people say black.
Yeah, but it was made.
Now don't get me wrong, it has a lot of history behind it, most of it negative.
Yeah,
but everybody got their little slang negative in every race.
But just think about what you just said right there, how powerful that word is. Remember perfect example, remember Dave Chappelle, around the time when he quit the Chappelle Show. Remember same thing. Because the way you use the word,
he was trying to do the same thing,
but the opposite way.
Yeah, but see, the flip of it was, it's still deemed as a negative.
Yeah,
I don't care what. It's just like you don't go to. How many times have you heard? Do you hear? Hate to say this to all my white and Caucasian. You don't see white people going around. What's up, my honky? What's goody, my honky?
I think I think it'd be funnier.
It is funny, but do you really hear them saying that?
Oh no.
You don't hear nobody poking up. What's up, my spick? What's up, my? You don't hear people pull up like that. Black people are the only ones who pull up and do something like that.
I'm just thinking, you just see it coming. Man, what's good? My wet back? How it going?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
My brownie.
Yeah.
Brownie from my brownie.
Brownie from my brownie.
Terrible.
Terrible. You know,
but you don't hear people say that.
No.
We say that.
It's such a unique situation.
And then we get offended. But see, this is the problem. See, we'll get offended if some white boy or some Asian dude come up and be like, "Stop being a nigga." Now, if a black person told you that, you'd be like, "I'd kind of shake that off." But if a white or Asian or somebody said that to you, you ready to fight. So you can't have. But see, just one thing: can you really have it both ways here?
Honestly,
that's the $1 million question. Can you really pause? Can you utilize the term?
Thank you for clearing that up.
Both ways, y'all ain't catch me with no pause today.
Honestly, yeah.
Because so you're gonna have to figure that out.
You're gonna have to figure,
Because again,
because I was gonna say no, but because
ultimately, ultimately,
because some people can deal with it, some people can't. So it's a right and wrong answer.
But see, then you gotta sit here and pick and choose.
Yeah.
Because certain people, you may think that, they're not offended, and they may be. They may not just tell you. There's a lot of black people who you can come to and say that. Now, I'm gonna tell you right now. If I ever formed the words nigga from my mom, I'm getting slapped in my face. Shout out to my mom, it was her birthday a couple days ago.
Happy birthday.
Anyway, but if I said that to my mom,
but see,
my mom would slap me dead in my face. Like, for real.
For me, and this goes back to one of my favorite comedians, rest in peace, Paul Mooney. Rest in peace, Paul Mooney. He said this with content. He said, everybody wants to be a nigga until it's time to actually be it. Then you see it all despair and disappear.
Right. No,
because
everybody wants to use the term.
So you basically get what I said.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really about. It was really about. There's other people. Not that I can take it that direction. In terms of people, no. But it's really about the kids, because now it's the question of what are you telling the kids? Is the answer to the question. What are you going to tell the kids? What do you tell the kid who was said this to, and what do you say? What do you say to the kid who's been liberally using this term, thinking that it's cool to use this? I hear it all the time. I hear it in rap music. I hear it in this.
And see,
my parents use this term,
and that's always going to be the downfall of this. Oh, I heard this on a song, or I heard this from my parents, or I heard this on the game. So how do
you break that cycle so they don't get caught up in?
You honestly can't.
Do you know how many kids started saying it after GTA 5?
I know that, and I know that, and I know that gaming is part of the problem.
But you really can't break this down. You really can't.
So
only thing you can do is exactly what you said: is explain to your kids the right or wrong or the situation of using the term of this word or anything else in generally. But it goes off. How many times you ever see a parent-teacher conference or on a talk show say, well, maybe you pay attention more to your kids, maybe they wouldn't act this way. Or if you not say the wrong negative words in front of your kids, maybe they wouldn't go out and say that. But you can't always determine or pick and choose when your kid is going to act out or not, because you never know, because you're not always going to be around your kids.
No.
But, if you express yourself toward them and say, like, hey, look, because how many times, I know you happened, this happened to me. Hey, knock it off. Don't say that word.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, I got it.
I've been backhanded by my mom.
Oh, yeah.
My mom, somebody intense.
My mama hit me to this day if I get along.
But
don't get it wrong. I'm
not using this as funny, but my brother got arrested. So he used to really, really hate my mom on because he would say this word and she'd be telling him something. She still hit her, but he still be trying to see how much he can do to get away with it by keep saying it. And that's one of the problems too.
No, because I know a lot of kids.
Because a lot of kids,
parents button because they think that they ain't gonna catch the fade.
Exactly.
Let my son get out of line right now. Trust me, I will go to North Carolina. He'll catch it. He'll catch it.
But so to answer your question, is really nothing you really can't do.
But I always say that the teaching. I mean, at least for me,
the teaching part, the
moment has to be this. But you cannot. It's hard to teach it when you're the one doing it.
Exactly.
So I always say that,
and for me, and I always tell people, even who knows me or they don't know, or I introduce myself to them, or I finally meet them for the first time, if I ever said anything to offend you, or if I said anything that you probably wouldn't write with, and you come tell me, at least I'm man enough to say, okay, I apologize, or if I made you feel uncomfortable, hey, my bad, I don't want to start the relationship off, as a negative term that to the point that this must be how he is in real life all the time. Basically, that's not who or in general who you deal with.
Right.
But you cannot stop people from using certain words. I don't care if it's black, white, Mexican, anything.
Agreed.
Because there's plenty of times a white person might have said the word nigga, probably to themselves or somewhere else.
It goes
to a group of people. It goes
into the white chicks thing. Making my way downtown. We were just talking about this too, right? We were talking about this, right? But when they were like, they didn't know the words, right? But they were like, wait, remember the part in the movie? They were like, you can't say that. But there's nobody around.
50G,
they all start singing it, right?
But even then, you see that even in the movies.
Even in the movie, they made fun of it. But think about that concept. They knew, even though they could say it, they knew they couldn't say it around certain people. Why? Because they knew it would be a problem.
That's just acting.
No. Even with
the acting part, people still probably get offended by that.
Yeah, because they would get offended by that because they would understand that. They knew even in the movie
Because I've seen literally people walk out of movie theaters just by a word they heard.
Yeah, I've seen people. You hear this all the time. Go to a club. Go to a club. Let a song come on, and listen to everybody say that thing word for word. Even kids. I remember a kid was trying to recite some song from Logic. Logic, white rapper, great rapper, by the way. And the little kid came up there. He even asked his mom, can I say all the bad words? Go ahead. Gave it go ahead. All kinds. But that tells you. It just tells you where we are. Teaching moment.
But see, even with that, because it's funny, when I was watching an episode of SmackDown, and there was a scene with Cody Rhodes. They was at the forum.
Yeah, they were showing.
And he sung Tupac's song.
Mm-hmm.
He knew word for word. Mm-hmm. I was like, wow. That even impressed me. But it goes to show that people listen to different, culture stuff. But
yes.
But when he did that literally struck me like, okay, he knows the words. He didn't do anything to offend nobody. But
no, I get it. But see, if he is as liberal to just say the words in front of everybody, and I know he's reciting the song, so nobody's gonna take offense to somebody reciting the song because it's not his.
He was on beat
it's
too.
It's not literally his words that he's saying. He's just reciting somebody else's word.
Yeah,
I got that part. But if the wrong person was around who heard that, who took offense to it, so let's say
no Tupac, homie.
So let's say that it's Omas who's up there who don't understand. And who's like, why you saying nigga in the song? And he want to fight
7 foot giant,
like for real.
Yeah,
then it's a problem, ain't it?
Or you got Lashley or
MVP. somebody who could
MVP,
somebody who's about it who take offense to it. Then it's a problem.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna tell you right now, you get that in locker rooms all the time. See, people think it's all cool,
especially in the NBA. Yeah,
people think it's cool until somebody gets punched in their chest. Shout out to Ruby Gobert, who just punched somebody in the chest for doing something very similar on the court. Just happened on the court last night.
That one, what was it, last week? The WNBA or the college girl
similar
who was doing the
similar situation. No derogatory, no nothing. But I mean, I'm gonna tell you right now.
Yeah, it was.
What they didn't say, there was some derogatory, but they didn't talk about that. But even with that being said, it's the fact of when to or when not to.
But he punched the shit out of it.
Yeah, you know when to or when not to use that term. But even then, two black people talking basketball game in the heat of the discussion. Want you use a rebound? Want you use this? Cuss, nigga. Mm-hmm. Dude minked it in the chest.
It's just the playoffs. It's the playoffs.
No, I get it. But the problem is that you are. A lot of times you will see somebody's true character in two situations.
Yeah.
When things are great or when things are adverse. Meaning that, what I mean by adverse is in a time of a crisis or a time of a problem, you will see people talk a certain way, respond a certain way, act a certain way, certain words come out. Let them be in a situation. You see people get into a fight. And you be like, calm. They get ready to fight. White boy. Yeah, forget that nigga. See all the words come out? All that stuff comes out in time of adversity.
No. I'm listening to what
you look at him like you got a little too real there for a second.
No, because it is real.
Because you see that or when everything is going good, when they come off, when they got the money, when they sitting around.
Can't fight for nothing.
Remember the last podcast? I told y'all about that $5 million and stuff. Somebody get a buttload of money. Guess what happens? They start getting real loose with everything that they do, right? Kanye is a perfect example of that.
Please don't talk about that, brother.
No, I'm just telling you that you get real loose with what you're talking about. And then all of a sudden get that money taken away. Now you want to button up. But that's what I'm saying. But to me,
we out the balloon.
But it's crazy because when you talk about like the generational now, it's just tough. Because again, we work in a job where we have a lot of diverse people. And I remember having to shut a conversation down because they were using the term a little bit too much. But they were just like, nigga this, nigga that, nigga this. Like, dude.
Dial it back.
Calm down. well, my nigga this and this nigga's this and this bi.
They were talking
this.
like Riley from Boondocks.
Yeah, no, they were just being reckless. You're like you're using it so liberal, not understanding that there's people who can be offended by it. Now, that I personally like all aghast and offended? No. Mm-hmm. But I know there's other people around that would be. Hey boy. Because I'm gonna tell you right now. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're in a work situation and somebody really came at you crazy, like, why you being a nigga, it's gonna be a problem. Somebody gonna fight. Yeah. So you can't have. That's why I say it's hard to have it both ways. Situation. It's hard to have it both ways. I remember being in that situation. It's hard to do it. Sometimes you gotta have the discipline and be like, just ease off of that for the greater good. Yeah, but there's certain situations where you gotta be like,
people. Yo, that's how I come out.
Like you just don't want to.
And it happens. It happens. It's a test
answer
of will.
Me this.
Go ahead.
Is it an attitude?
No, because a lot of people. No.
I know what you're saying, but
no. It's people's way to try to. They try to fit in.
Yeah.
No. I'm gonna be honest with you. They're trying to fit in because this is what's been taught to them. Like for you to fit in, you gotta use this term.
It's a slang
because because the black people use it. So people who are on the outside looking in, this is their way of getting in. So the whole thing is, if all the black people wear Jordans, I gotta wear Jordans to fit in.
Well, back then when I was in
I'm
just wearing Fresh Pro Clubs, having I'm
just telling you that. So when you started, it's just a matter of this is how you fit into this environment. But it works.
It's wrong.
But this works in reverse. But people don't understand that. You just don't. This is not on display in reverse, but it works in reverse. You go into a high-profile environment where you gotta dress a certain way, be all preppy and all this stuff. Guess what? It works in reverse. Mm-hmm. That's just not.
Because I can't walk into. Let's say, for instance, if I'm dressed just like this, but I want to go to like a wine tasting place. You can't walk in like this.
You could.
I mean, you could, yeah.
But you shouldn't.
But you shouldn't. But
they're only going to look at you a certain way as is because you're pulling up. But you don't want to be the one to be like, well, I
can't go on Rodale Drive.
You could. But here's the thing about.
But you're not going to get the same atmosphere for certain other people because they're going to look at you.
It's going to be a little hostile. Yeah,
exactly.
They're going to try to kick you out because you don't look.
You don't fit the. Yeah.
If you're a minority walking down there as it is a problem, let alone
if I'm walking down, look, I'm gonna just use this example. If I'm walking down, I'm going down. Let's say going down Melrose, huh? But I'm fit like this, and then say if I go to one of these nice little shops, knowing 9 out of 10, I don't even shop at the shop, but I just wanted to go in there. Everybody freezes. Staring problem, and you hear it all the time, even on the intercom. Security. Camera check on aisle 2. Why you gonna security? Because I don't fit the script of the natural person who walks into this convenience store knowing that this is not the store I go shopping in, but I just want to check it out anyway. But my appearance is different off. They see me already hood. So if natural 9 out of 10, they're gonna say, oh, he's looking in here, he might come steal. Not knowing, I'm just here, looking around, browsing,
that's not even
getting the conversation wise.
They don't know if you have the money or not.
Yeah.
And you could have the money. And a lot of people do have the money. But I'm going to tell you right now, you still kind of have to blend in a little bit. Mm-hmm. It's just comes with the territory. And that's what I'm saying. But a lot of times what people try to do, they try to blend into the hood because the hood is what sells. Now,
earlier we were talking about Echo.
Yeah. The hood is what sells.
But this is one of the reasons why when we said this on one of the, I think it was episode 2 or 3 podcasts when we talked about bucket lists and stuff like that. Like why I do want to go to certain places. Like, for example, when I mentioned I wanted to go to the opera. Mm-hmm. Not just because of, me growing up in the ghetto, this and that and the other, change the culture, change the different scenery. Sometimes I want to learn something different besides of listening to or hearing this and that. Or when we talked about, and you even said this, that's cool. When I told you, like, certain songs or certain things. Sometimes I like this, but sometimes I might listen to, some country or some rock or one of my favorite. And I enjoy Leonard Skinner all the time. That's just me.
My thing is,
but you see that. Oh well, you listen to this kind of music, maybe you're not black. Or you listen to this kind of music, maybe you're not white.
No, I get it.
There is not enough time in this episode for this conversation.
But that's just an example. That's just a perfect example of how powerful the N-word is, as well as different cultures or anything you say you do.
No, I'm saying right now.
No. I know.
This may be a two-parter.
I'm just thinking it's in a Nickelback song.
No, but here's the thing. I get what
You're not lying. You're not lying. But that is true.
But here's the thing. Here's the important part about that. You say a Nickelback song, and most people be like, giggle, 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 joke, and a lot of people are like, well, how in the world they know about Nickelback? Yeah, we know about Nickelback.
Let's say, for example, we go to a hee-haw club.
No, I can tell you, I pulled up in clubs. I pulled up in country clubs.
I've done that once.
Full on country clubs. Before, back in the day, they used to have a spot called
what's that one over there in Long Beach? Off of South Street?
Yeah, there's another one over there. I haven't pulled up on that one lately. Back in the day, you used to have a club in Irvine called Cowboy Boogie. I
remember
all the time.
It was one of Anaheim too, called Boogie.
Yes, they just shortened it.
Yeah, I've been there before.
But the real name of it was called the Cowboy Boogie. It was a cowboy country club where you did line dancing for 6 days throughout the week. But the one day throughout the week that they had a hip hop night was a Saturday night because they wanted to have a hip hop night. But you can pull up on a Thursday and line dance. I'm gonna tell you right now. You think that wasn't no brothers up in there line dancing? Look at the clubs right now. If you can go on.
They go river dance.
No. Forget them. No. They ain't river dancing. They be like,
Wait. But remember on Soul Man with Samuel Jackson and Bernie Mac when they was in the country club when they started doing the dance? That's exactly what it is. You will see that.
But see, you can be yourself
and have fun.
But I don't have to sit there and be like, oh, I'm a nigga this, I'm a nigga. I'm just sitting there having fun.
Exactly. Yeah.
But there's people but there's people going there trying to set trip at a country club. Really? I've seen it. Set trip at a country club.
Or the salsa dance.
I've been in there too.
And you know dang well Cameron done the Congo.
I mean when the Mirage was
Cameron be that you breaking my heart.
I've been at the Mirage, which is not that far away from here. And then I remember it used to be a problem. It used to be a problem pulling up in there. You wanna know why? That was a rare black people in a spot that wasn't designed for black people to go. But if you blend in and you kept cool, everything was cool. Everything was Gucci.
What's your mariachi party or quinceañera, trying to tell a party, but you know. But they weren't expecting it from my brother. Oh,
that's what I'm saying.
And he brought his own maracas.
That's what I said. I was like, but see, my thing is,
they call me Cuban beat.
I'm going the rumba beat.
But you get the idea though on that.
But I get the idea because the thing is about people try so hard to blend in with the brotherhood, but really, it's one of those things where we, as the brotherhood, should be better. I think that's really what it comes down to. I
think that goes from everybody to be better.
Yeah, I mean, everybody needs to be better as a society. Yeah, I'm just saying that, but for us in that particular situation, you know, we gotta be better. If you don't want your kids to be caught up in these situations and stuff, you gotta be better and teach them. And that's why I said, hey, let them talk to Uncle Cam. I will set them straight. Because it's a real, not I ain't talking about bring out the belt and all that. So no, I ain't doing all that.
Well, he said that with compassion. Talk to Uncle Cam.
Talk to Uncle Cam.
And we're going to have a situation.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. And the reason why is because I understand. I lived it. I lived it with my too. I literally just lived it.
Yeah, and I feel you on that.
And my kids are, they sit in diverse situations every single day because when you get into real life, you ain't just dealing with just one race of people or one culture of people. You're dealing with multiple. My son is in Marines. He got to deal with everybody. He was overseas.
And I'm pretty sure he's been in this.
And he was looked at crazy. And you think he's going to be nigga this, nigga that, and he's way out in Russia? Really?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure your son is running that a lot where he is now.
Yes, of course he run it. You know how many people probably said that to him as soon as he touched down on that basis to check him to see if he's going to handle that.
But I know that probably happened to my shout out to my boy Marcus because he's in
there's a lot of
the
people,
Army too. But I'm pretty sure he didn't see. I haven't asked him that, but I'm pretty sure he didn't.
My daughter catches that working at her job and going to school and stuff. It's the same thing, but it was a very teachable thing. I just got them to not say that all willy-nilly and regular.
But they have said it.
No, I'm not saying that they never said that. I'm not going to really lie and say that my daughter never said that, but my son said it a couple of times. But even if he doesn't say it like that, you want to know why? Because he wants to.
It's so funny though.
He's a diverse. He's kind of like me, very diverse in who you hang out with. So when you are diverse and you hang around with a lot of different people.
But your son was in. But the way you described it, because I know I'm pretty sure he was in the middle, but. In between popular and unpopular, but he looked like he got along with pretty much everybody.
He's like me; he got along with everybody. And part of getting along with everybody is that you can't.
He got your smile though when I see that picture.
Yeah, you just can't just lock. You just don't just lock into one because, like I said, I love people. It's like I tell people, I love hanging out with people. And
like me, because I have a way, and people say this all the time. I have a way of bringing people together.
Right, and so I don't want to. So I try to take away anything that could be negative in conversation, so it doesn't become a problem. Because I want you to hang around, have fun, show love, and we do it again. And we do it again. It's really that simple. But I saw that because it was like, dog, I hate that little man got in trouble. That was the conversation piece that he got in trouble for saying that. But I understood the why.
Why?
Because it's as a kid, you just don't want him to just go down that path. Because what you don't want him to be looked at when he gets older is that, well, he's just a typical kid. Gonna be running off his mouth, nigga this, nigga that, and they ain't gonna want to give him a shot.
You know what's so funny? What we talked about? Remember when we were watching? Me and you was watching Gary Owens, comedian Gary, and how his expression with that word used.
Yeah, because he knew his kids is mixed.
But he said only thing I hate about that word is like I can't say it, but my kids can say it.
Yeah, but even then, he has to be a teaching moment to say that, and it's hard for him to have that teaching moment and say that. So his wife or his ex-wife at this point has to be the one to have that teaching moment. And that's the tough thing behind that. Anyway, I know it was kind of a...
No, that was a good subject topic.
It was like one of those things that I heard it in conversation, so I wanted to kind of address it.
I'm glad you expressed it.
And address it in that way. Because it's not, like I said, it's not a knock really against the parents. It's not really a knock really against the kids. I just think it's more of just, here's just the teaching moment. Just teach the moment so when they get older, they will understand that it is bigger than them too. They don't understand it.
I can't wait till you put that's gonna be one of your another phrases on your shirt you gonna make. It's bigger than you. We're gonna get the Nerd Boy Fresh in the God above all shirt, man. But when he says that it's bigger than you.
No, it's gonna be a picture of Cam. It's gonna be a picture. It's gonna be a picture of Cam, right? We're gonna be doing the thing with the glasses, and it's gonna be say it's bigger than you.
I like that. It's like a teachable moment. It's bigger than you.
He's gonna have a desk, right?
He's gonna be up top, and the person gonna be it's bigger than you. But like you said, and Victor, you said this in a good way, in a passionate way too, is that it's so this word is so big because the biggest thing is not just this word racism, period. It's still going to exist to the day for this generation to the next generation.
It ain't going nowhere, dude.
It ain't going nowhere.
Because I understand that it's used as a term of endearment.
And you see this, you see this.
I get it.
You see this in politics. You see this in this war.
I know politics.
I'm not joking.
Because I know plenty of times Barack Obama probably was like, these niggas ain't got me caught up out here.
Listen, this will be happen long after we're dead, but the word will probably get to a point where it's just a synonym for bruh.
It is, and that's what I said.
But it's getting there. It's still got that. Baggage tied to it. But it's getting to the point where it's just another word.
I think ultimately what it comes down to is that, I'm glad our generation is kind of easing off of it some, but I understand because, like I said, it's the times in adversity. Those same people be like, "Ooh, you nigga this, nigga that." It'll be the same time that when something goes really bad. And they're talking about a black person,
especially in relationships.
Like this nigga is
females.
Then it gets serious. Then it's like it's hard to reel that in.
This nigga broke my heart.
Yeah, and I'm like, and I get, and again,
I get it.
I get it.
No, this is an interesting question I have here for proposed to both of you. You can answer.
Okay.
Do you think the term can be applied to both sexes, or are we just speaking of just a strictly male word?
No, it's always you hear this. All the time.
and
even it's like it's almost laughable when you hear females do it.
But I'm being serious.
The answer is yes.
It is
Because
so as people would say, it's
more like I said, it's a term of endearment. Like
it's a gender neutral term.
Right. It's one of those things where, and that's a good question. And yes, and the reason why I say it is because a lot, like I said, now in slang terms, nigga is used into like that's my people, like that's my friend, that's my people, that's my nigga. That's how it's being used versus my nigga, which is like, hey, he's an ignorant black dude.
Let me.
But no, I'm just saying, no, I'm not trying to be funny.
But it is. That's why I'm laughing. But it is.
Different ways.
Because you hear it different.
But that's the way that is.
These my niggas right here. Oh, this ignorant nigga right here.
Yeah, but then you
can't stand that nigga right there.
But that's
that nigga right there.
But see, that's the thing. But see, that's where it becomes.
I'm not gonna talk to this nigga today.
Right, but that's because the problem.
Man, I was saying all these niggas last night
because it's used in both terms, and a lot of times.
Man, I gotta go pick up this nigga from work.
Right,
it's a very flexible word.
I was out there playing with these niggas on the court.
Too flexible because a lot
that's
of
the problem.
But
a lot of times
it's a noun. It describes it like Bernie Mac.
No,
a person plays a thing.
No, it's not even a person plays a thing. It's a verb.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just going with Bernie Mac.
And the adjective.
No, I want to see him go Bernie Mac. Do what you think.
Nah,
do
it.
But to answer your question, it is because, and vice versa, you see dudes call female niggas. Not just that's a we
ain't gonna go into that. They ain't gonna go into that part.
We don't have enough time.
We'll be here for another hour because a lot of and the girls gotta stop. I'm gonna start here, and I'm not.
This is definitely gonna be a part 2.
I'm not going to elaborate. Since we're already getting demonetized on this video anyway because we use the word nigga. So we get demonetized. So you know what I'm saying? Y'all gotta stop calling females. I gotta stop calling each other bitches to each other and then get mad when a dude calls y'all that. Y'all gotta stop doing that. But
you finna start something. Cut this thing. Because I got a lot to say on that episode.
We ain't going to address that right now.
So we
may address that on the next episode.
So what's the final thought on that?
But anyway, y'all go ahead.
You finna start something on that one.
No, because
we know, but you're not learning though. Because
it goes to the black people and saying, and like it goes into
because the word, you know, I'm saving that for next.
It goes into the black people saying nigga all the time, and then getting overly offended when somebody else do it. You know, if y'all don't want to, if y'all gonna take offense to it, then y'all gotta stop using it. It's the same thing with females calling each other biacious. But, like I said, I'm going to cut the biacious part of that conversation, because we are going to go into that too. That'll probably be the next episode.
That's the next episode right there.
Final thoughts?
But anyway, go ahead.
Okay.
I need a chance to get to the
episode. Well, this episode has been very... It's been a mixture of...
and I think that's why. Because I say that word a lot too.
Stop doing that too.
I gotta stop doing that.
Yeah, y'all gotta stop doing that.
I say that. No, I say that.
You gotta stop doing that.
I say that word a lot because of...
You said it to our boss once.
I have. No, because I said it. No, I said that to him.
You didn't say that directly to the boss?
Oh, yes, I did.
He did.
And he took it like a G.
No, because I used it in the way of I wanted him to see.
And he took it like a G?
Yeah, I wanted him to see that, you know, I have a good side and I have a...
Nah.
But not in that perspective way.
Man,
he's still working that camp, so it's fine.
I'm still there.
Apparently he ain't done and he can't find me.
But he can't find me because I'm just expressing what
no, it's not even. He couldn't find you, but he could have told somebody else to find you.
He could have told you, yeah. But, you know, he didn't. I say it a lot.
Yeah.
Because if you get on my bad side,
yeah,
you know,
I got that, but you can't.
Yeah, but
you can't. You gotta be careful.
I know. I had to be careful, but
anyway,
I didn't want to. I'm not gonna lie about it.
No. I know you did. But I know our boss. I know.
Yeah. Anyway.
But go ahead.
Go
ahead with this niggerish.
This episode has been, honestly, I would say this is categorized more in educational than anything.
Yes.
I mean, because what we've been talking about here,
I can't help it.
You know, because what we've been talking about really is just a word. right? And the power of this word and the flexibility of this word, the implications of this word, the baggage of this word, it is so, like I said, this can be over an hour-long documentary on just this word. It is fascinating, really, how this word affects people in so many different ways, right? Across all races, right? There's not a single race out there that is not going to have some sort of reaction to being called this word, right? Especially here in America, where we're a melting pot of different ethnicities, I should say, not races. There's only one race, the human race. Ethnicities here. And every ethnic group is going to react differently to being called that, right? Some with confused indifference, some with more aggression, some perhaps with warmth to it. You know, it's so fascinating, the single word. And in a group of 10 people, all 10 people are going to react differently from being called that, and they're going to react differently from saying it. It's such a fascinating topic. Because honestly, what we've been talking about here, like I said a second ago, is just really the educational part of it. And the more cultural implications. Because as we've seen as time has went on, this word is losing its harder edges, and it's becoming a little more softer. Not a whole lot, but it is happening because it's being integrated into the culture.
It's a strong symbol.
You know, it's being integrated into the culture more, frequently now. Like I said, we may not live to see it, but the word is eventually going to be up there with the term bruh or bro. It's going to be there with it. It's going to be, I wouldn't be surprised if eventually it became a synonym for it in the actual dictionary. Like I
was
said,
just going to say the same thing. You might see this word in the dictionary.
Because I don't think we're going to live to see it, but maybe we might start seeing the effects of it. But like I said, this word's not going anywhere. If anything, it's just you're going to see it more and more often.
And
Paul.
Well, you basically, said everything. But in generally, and all BS aside, and all jokes aside of this word is one of the most powerful words in the history of this society and all mankind. And people take it for granted, and people not. But at the same time, if you use it in a negative way towards, offending people, then that's wrong. But, at the same time, if you use it and people, because I've seen them using good terms and bad terms. I'm not going to sit here and lie about it. And I'm not going to sit here and say that, I don't say the word. I say it all the time. Even sometimes I say it at the workplace, which I'm not supposed to, I might get away with it, but, at the same time, somebody get offended and they call me off on it, then, I am a man of my word, and I will apologize. And did it, to a degree, to tell, hey, my bad, and go from there. But, it's just that for me, this word has been destroyed by everybody. And it has destroyed a lot of people's lives, if I can say. And it's just like Vic said, this word's not going to go anywhere. It's going to go down in history, and you never know. You might see this in the dictionary. You might see it even used for test of time in a different life, in a different world. I mean, who knows? This world, the way this is going, and the way this economy is, and the way these politics is, I'm not surprised. Like I said, in my house, somebody got called the N-word. So, for me, and so for all the listeners or anything about it, if we, like Cam said, we have to teach our younger generation different point of view of how this word can affect certain people. Or affect younger people generally. Because we're not going to sit here and say it doesn't affect us. It was a time, young age, I got offended by it, but at the time as I grown in early adult stage or in my adulthood days, I just hear, when I hear it, I hear it. Because unless you feel like you won, you're not one. But people, people can say this, oh, I'm not doing it. End of the day, you are. We all are. Mm-hmm. So, I just say, if you're going to say it, say it. If you're going to really, really say it. If you got, if you can back it up with it, say it. If you can't, then don't point of view, don't mess with it at all. And I say that to anything in life, what you do and what you not do. Because, like I said, you can't you can't stop nobody from expressing it or saying it. They're always gonna say it no matter what. I don't care what race who says it. Everybody says it. So that's all I got.
Cameron.
So, for me, it's always kind of like a mixed bag, so to speak, because I've been on both sides of that equation. So, it's just like I told my peoples on Saturday, it was like, I know and understand the way that y'all are using the term, so I don't necessarily take offense to it.
You don't vibe with it.
But when I had an instance when I was working at Micro Center, and I think I told you this before, where I had to deal with this Asian guy.
Yeah.
And he was, basically called me like this, hey, F you, nigga, really, that's how he said it, hard R, whole nine, and try to walk away, but he did it knowing that if he was probably like within swinging distance, he probably would have got stolen. I wasn't going to steal on him because I wasn't going to lose my job over. I wasn't going to lose my job over that.
I get what you're saying though, Cam, on that, because I've ran into this and I have sold somebody just for that, but
the thing is.
But see, not to cut you off, I didn't stole on him because he said the word. I stole on him how he expressed the word towards me.
Right. And
so that can be totally two different things.
And this is why I said, because, like I said, you will understand how that person really is. You understand how that person... I'm sorry, Victor just had a little kill switch for a minute. He was just now he all with us. Go ahead. Go ahead. Because, for me, it was like going through situations like that. And I've been in a lot of situations where people would just, hey, you just made a nigga,
Yeah.
And I've been in those situations, and it was really unwarranted. And so for me, it was like I can't be the one to be like, nigga this, nigga that, nigga this, nigga that, and then be all overly over the top angry for somebody doing what that agent did. Does that make sense? So there's a line. And for me, I understand the two differences. But the one part that people really got to understand is that if you're going to use this term, you better be very careful of who you're saying it to, and in the manner and situation in which you are talking. Because a lot of time people still use that term in the negative, even though they think they're saying it in a positive, but they'll be like, well, it's just like what you said. Well, this nigga here, and they're not understanding that that's, even though you're talking you're talking about something and you make me not think it's negative, that's still negative.
But see, it goes off to what you were saying. Like, I hate when people say this, or even we say this a lot. Like, say, for instance, they see me, you, and 6 more black people walking down the street in a group together. What they gonna say? Oh, they're a bunch of niggas. How come you just can't say, okay, a bunch of brothers, a bunch of dudes?
It's just a bunch of people walking through.
Yeah. It don't necessarily always have to use that term.
It doesn't have to be a bunch of black men per se. It could be 3 black men and three black females. And they'll be like, these niggas.
Yeah. All we gotta be men.
I think.
Right, and I think that's the problem that we have, is that a lot of times you see a lot of people.
And it goes on, and even with that, even you might be in a group of Hispanics. And like I said, they say the same thing too.
It doesn't matter who's saying the conversation. Yeah. It's that's just the conversation. Versus, it's not like and here's the thing. This is like, because we use this term so liberally, and it's like, we could go hours and hours on this. We don't go and talk about a bunch of white people and say, these honkies here. We don't go to your Mexican or Spanish people and name a group, these wetbacks here. Mm-hmm.
Real quick.
Then sometimes you hear these cholas and cholo, you may hear something like that. Mm-hmm. I've heard that.
Yeah. Y'all remember Carlos Mencia?
Yeah.
And the reason why he ain't trying to do much right now, because he stole some stuff.
Well, that's a different story, but he used to call it beaners.
Same thing. Mm-hmm. Same thing. And they stopped doing that, right? Mm-hmm. Because they didn't call each other that.
Yeah.
They didn't. You don't see other white people call each other, "You're just hockey here." But you hear a lot of issues and that stuff, but you don't hear that. Why?
Just jigaboo.
Yeah, you hear a bunch of jigaboos.
Oh, don't get me don't remind me of Clerks.
Oh yeah. So final thought on you for you though. Ken?
But anyway, my thing is that just be super careful if you're going to use that term, because I'm gonna tell you right now, there's still enough people who don't rock with that term.
A lot, actually.
Yeah, and you'll be surprised who does and who doesn't. Like I said, me personally, I don't get super offended unless you are using it in the negative.
Don't
let the small frame fool you. I'm kind of nice.
Don't let the Call of Duty lobbies fool you. It's not.
And that's the other thing. And don't let these kids. And I know these kids. I know this, and this is why I said the parenting part of the conversation piece. And I will touch on that. Is that the problem is that these kids, because they got hide behind social media, they got hide behind the game and all this stuff. They feel the liberty to say this to grown people because their parents ain't in the background popping them in the back of the head for getting out of line talking to grown men like that or grown women like that. That's part of the problem. You got to teach about that. That's the one thing I did with my kids, and I ain't saying that for everybody. Everybody has their own way of governing their kids, so this is not a way of saying do it because I did it per se. For me, what I did with my kids was I had to teach them better, so when they got into these situations, it didn't become a bigger issue. Because what I didn't have to do is pull up on somebody because my kid was mouthing off. Because I still have to defend my kid, but I have to pull up on a situation where it could have been prevented. Does that make sense?
Yeah. All right, people.
Anyway, well, we got to get up out of here, man. Crazy topic. I'm sorry.
I apologize.
This was
I'm glad you expressed your.
I'm sorry. It was one of those
ethics
things.
and your.
It was just one of those things. I want to get into something a little bit different.
Dude, you gotta title this episode. They said what?
Oh no. Like these Negroes.
Don't get us canceled.
I mean, this was gonna get demonetized anyway.
But
no, man.
remember back in the days, like on a certain hit shows, like Apartment 227 or the George Jefferson with a. They said that they remember when
they did
on that thing, but they try to use it.
No, but they got all those episodes got cut real hard. They didn't put those episodes on anymore.
Yeah, but you see how determination and
how
they a learning process on that.
Well, no, because we used it we started using it in a different way, and because no, let me I'm going here, and I'm going here. We got 2 minutes, and we're gonna go. It's the consumerism behind it. So they will let rappers get away with it because it sells, because it makes them money, because they knew it's the easy E statement. I cuss to get my point across. I'm going to say this to get my point across. And when NWA got popular, and they were selling so much money because they were nigga this and cussing this and all this stuff, and they knew that was a selling point, and then every other artist behind NWA started doing it, and they knew that there was so much money involved in it, they let it go. The reason why we got all the way over to Grand Theft Auto 5 and these kids are playing and you hear it and just think it's a normal thing now is because, think about Grand Theft Auto 5. It's the second highest money-making game on the market right now outside of Call of Duty.
Look, man, everyone remembers what Lamar said.
Exactly. And because of the money, it's okay. If there was no money, it wouldn't be okay.
Money talks.
Yeah, unfortunately, like I said, it's the love of money, kids. The love of money. Anyway, but besides that, y'all, it's been a great episode. I'm glad y'all been rocking along with us. Like always, I know it's pretty crazy. If y'all feel offended, I apologize. Don't blame the boys. Blame me. It was on me.
It's a learning process.
But I want y'all. We always do this so y'all can learn something, and we're trying to get y'all to learn a little something. If y'all going through situations like that, like I said, talk to Uncle Cam.
Ex-Wiggle member.
I got you. The wiggle. Wobble. Hey, I was watching something and they were playing that at a country club and they were actually. And they were trying to wobble. I was like, wait a minute. Y'all didn't know y'all was wobbling at no
to
country.
the back.
I didn't know they were trying to wobble at the country club. They was really trying to. And it was
All
like
right.
maybe mixing the hip hop stuff with the country.
All right. Kill the feed.
Anyway, let me get up out of here. We got to get to work a little bit later on today, but we definitely appreciate every single one of y'all rocking along with the squad. Of course, it's definitely been an honor. This has been episode 49, Laying Pipe with the PVC crew. For my man Paul, for my man Vic, my name is Cam, aka Mr. Nerd Boy Fresh. Figgy. Like always, y'all, it is God. I know he's sleepy. It's cool. Like always, y'all, it is God above everything. Till the next time, family, we will do this again soon.
Much love and respect.
Salute.
I just said a word.